Welcome to Pure Mind Magic, the show to evolve your mind. Our mind is the most powerful thing we have, but no one teaches us how to use it. When we find out how, we're ready to create magic in life and in business. Learn real mindset secrets from brilliant minds around the world to change your mindset and income level forever. With every decision you make, you create your future. What is your next move? Now, welcome your host, international magician, speaker, and podcast performance consultant, Jennifer S. Royal.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Interview Friday at Pure Mind Magic. When you are new to this show, please make sure to subscribe so you won't miss any of the new episodes that are coming up. Today is all about master your message with marketing and communication strategist Raloph Brogden. Ralph is really the expert when it comes to media, to PR, and on how to write a PR release and also how to push it out and get people interested. But before getting into marketing, he says it is really important that you master your message first, like what you are standing for and what your message is. It has to do, obviously, with finding your voice. And we will talk about that in this upcoming interview. He has put together an online course about master your message. So in this program, you will go through all the steps on coming up with your core message. He also has a free ebook that is called Irresistible Marketing. And so you see, we come full circle with marketing and communication at all. He also knows all the tricks on really how to get this publicity and on how to get your PR releases definitely picked up by major media platforms. So stay tuned to learn everything from Ralph. And when you're interested in networking, because I connected with Ralph through networking, I created also an online course, and mine is about networking and how to use podcasting to grow your network and profit from your network to create a lot of win-win situations. And for all my listeners, you can get 90% off this course. The code is in the show notes below this episode. So, hope you're ready for some great new knowledge on what you can do when you're using media in the right way with some smart strategies that really can push you to the next level. Welcome to the show, Raloph Brogden. Hi, Ralph. Welcome to the show.
Hello, Jennifer. Well, I was going to say welcome to the show. I'm used to doing the interviewing, but I've got the pleasure today of being interviewed by you. So I've got to shift gears a little bit, and it's really great to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
You're welcome, Ralph. And it's really nice to do it vice versa. And I had the great honor to be a guest on your show. And I really loved it because you have this strong energy. You are really an authority and you ask me all these great questions. And I think we created a really nice episode together that went out into the world. And now today it's on me to ask you all the questions I have in my mind and to share all your insights and wisdom with the world.
Yeah, that will be great. I'm looking forward to this.
Great. So we are ready to go. And before we dive in all the great content and I would say magic tricks on marketing and communication you can share with us, can you give us a short overview, Ralph, of who you are and what you are doing?
Sure. Well, I'm a specialist in strategic communication, and that means I help people to package and promote their ideas for maximum exposure. And I call it mastering your message. And I help people master their message by getting them published, getting them media publicity, helping them to market their ideas more effectively, and so that they can have more impact in the world. So my professional background is in marketing and copywriting. I worked for a digital media agency in New York before I started my own consulting company. And my academic background is I have a bachelor's degree in psychology and marketing because I'm really fascinated by human behavior. So psychology is the study of human behavior. Marketing is the study of consumer behavior. And when you put those two fields together, I realized that the common denominator there is strategic communication. It's how we speak to people that shifts their beliefs and shifts their behaviors. So I'm just about finished with a master's degree in strategic communication from American University in Washington, D.C. And beyond that, I'm interested in doing PhD work in mass communication. So this is where I live. I love to talk about how we can master our message, make more impact, and really change the world in a positive way. I work with authors, teachers, coaches, consultants, subject matter experts, people who are really good at what they do, but not necessarily great at expressing what they do. Maybe not comfortable with marketing themselves in the traditional sense of marketing, but they're geniuses at being able to help people with their area of expertise. So I help them by helping them to master their message so that they can reach more people and have a greater impact.
That is really an awesome job you're doing there, Ralph, I have to say. And I'm sure you're helping so many people, because we know it's one part to write a book, but it's a completely different story to get it out into the world and get the book noticed and found by the right people. So when you did something like that, whether it's creating a book, a podcast, a YouTube channel, what would you say, Ralph? Because in the beginning, everything seems to be so overwhelming. What are the first steps to break it down, to really get ready to connect with the rest of the world?
Well, I approach it in a 3-step process. And I think what happens is people immediately go to the 3rd step of this process without really having done the foundational work. So I'll share that 3-step process with you. Number 1, it's finding your voice. Finding your voice. Secondly, it's mastering your message. And then you can share it with the world. But I see a lot of people, they just rush out into the world and they begin to talk, but they really haven't found their voice yet, and they haven't mastered their message. So when they try to go out into the world to share it, it's not ready. And it seems uncomfortable, or worse. They look at what other marketing experts, these internet marketing people are doing, and they try to emulate that. But it doesn't work because they really have not found their voice. They haven't mastered their message. And so they go out and they often they're disappointed by the results that they get, and it feels uncomfortable. And that's where I go in and help people to lay a foundation. First, find your voice. The 3 rules of strategic communication, or any kind of communication, is number 1, have something worth saying. Have something worth saying. Second is say it well. And there's lots of ways that you can package and present your ideas in ways that will help you to explain it to people and get a better result. The third thing is to say it often. It's to be consistent, to stay on track, and then that is the exciting part where you get to share it with the world and you see how the world responds to your message. So it's have something worth saying, say it well, and say it often. But I start with number 1, which is have something worth saying, and that is finding your voice. That's the first step. And the reason we get overwhelmed is because we're trying to say too many things to too many people in too many places. So a lot of strategy is about what not to do, what not to say, and stripping away all of that to get to what your core message is. What is your voice? Once we find that, we can master your message and then turn you loose on the world and watch you really have greater influence, impact, and income because people get it and they get you, and you're able to make a deeper connection with people.
That is really great advice, Ralph, to start with this 3-step process. And I would also ask you on a deeper level, what would you say? How is it possible to find this message that is really important? Because from magic, we know that words hold power, especially words that are repeated over and over. And when you know a lot of things, and we know this shiny object syndrome and everything is so interesting and you can't decide on what you focus on, what would you say? How do you look inwards to really find this message that is yours?
Well, that's a really good question, and that actually comes up quite a bit in my work with subject matter experts who are really great at what they know, but not necessarily great at expressing that to other people. And a good example is lawyers. When I work with lawyers or attorneys, often their efforts to communicate their message, they're trying to impress other lawyers instead of trying to connect with possible clients and prospects. And so you've got to this is the first mindset shift that you have to make, that it's not about you and what you do. It's about the problems you solve and the results that you deliver. So the very first thing is to focus on that. People don't care about your credentials. They don't care about your degrees. They don't care about your experience. All they want to know is, can you solve the problem that I'm experiencing right now? And can you deliver the result? Because that's all people want. There's two things that people want in this world. They want a problem solved or a result delivered. And if you can craft your message and focus on them and not on yourself, then you have already distinguished yourself in a positive way compared to every other marketing message that's out there. So I think that's the first step, is to get out of your own head and realize that communication is about making a deep connection with people. So who's your audience? Who are you trying to serve? Another mind shift there is to stop selling and start serving. Stop trying to sell and instead focus on, how can I serve? How can I solve this problem that my audience is experiencing? How can I deliver the result that my audience wants? And if you talk about problems and results, you automatically get people to pay attention to you. You don't have to do funny, crazy things to get attention. All you have to do is talk about the problems and results that people care about. So that's a real mindset shift for a lot of people, because they've been trained in marketing to talk about them and their product and their service and their features and their benefits, but nobody cares about that. And so part of my strategy is to help people connect with their audience and what their audience wants, what their audience cares about. Then we can talk about, well, what language does your audience use to talk about the problems they have and the results they want? And so that's a really important process to go through so that you can make a deeper connection with your audience.
Very nicely said, Ralph. And obviously there are a lot of moving pieces to get together, to come up with your message, to find your voice, and then to share it on the right platforms. And you are putting together an online course to help people master their message. Can you give us some insights on that?
Sure. Well, what I have found in coaching and consulting for so many years, and I've been at this for a long time now, I started selling advertising when I was 18 years old. That was 30 years ago. So I have been in a lifelong pursuit of mastering marketing and psychology and then strategic communication, and all of that comes together into mastering your message. And so I work with people one-on-one in coaching, and I realized And I guess a lot of coaches realize this and consultants realize this after working with clients for a number of years, that you end up saying the same things over and over and over again. Different client, but the same problems and same solutions and same recommendations. And I want to be able to scale my business, and I want to be able to have a greater impact and greater influence and frankly, greater income by helping more people and making a bigger difference. And I realized I could not do that if I was working one-on-one with people, because if I work with one person per hour per day, I can, 8 people? Well, I want to reach thousands. I want to reach 800, 8,000, 8 million, not just 8 people a day. And so to do that, what I have done is taken all of the things that I would teach to a client in a one-on-one session and begin to put that into an online course. The other benefit to that is no copywriter, no business consultant, nobody can tell you what your voice is. That's a discovery that you get to make. I can facilitate that. I can help you with that. I can guide you. I can give you the questions. I can give you the signposts. I can point you in the right direction. And I can confirm, yes, you have found your message. Yes, you have mastered your message. But I can't create that message for you. That comes from the depth of who you are. That comes from your heart. It comes from your experience. It comes from what you're passionate about. It comes from your vision, not my vision. And that's where I think a lot of people make the mistake. They hire a copywriter or they hire a marketing strategist to come up with something for them, but it doesn't fit them. It's not their voice. It's somebody else's voice. It's not their message. It's somebody else's message. So I help people through this process of finding their voice, connecting with their heart, connecting with their vision, and then mastering that message, taking that vision and finding the best ways to articulate that so that it touches other people. And then I help them to get that out there into the world. So we take them through a process. It's called Master Your Message, and it's not ready yet. I'm still putting the finishing touches on it, but that's coming up soon. And I'm really looking forward to being able to help more people with that and really leveraging and learning in just a few weeks what it took me 30 years to understand and to experience.
That sounds really great, and I can't wait for you to have this online course online, because I'm sure that it will help so many people, and also getting a deeper understanding of how everything is connected. And as you said, that it's only you who can come up with this personal message, and then getting help from outside to share it and to really get it out. But it has to have your voice, your frequency, your vibration. And yeah, no one can do that.
That's right. That's right.
So, Ralph, there is this saying that the best communicators are the most successful people in any field and industry. So what would you say? Why is this communication strategy so important when it comes to big projects, big visions, and how to approach other people to win them for your vision, for your mission, for whatever? Why is it so powerful? The thing how we communicate with others.
Well, it's powerful because it touches every aspect of our lives. When I studied psychology and human behavior, when I studied counseling methods and approaches, when I studied social psychology, all the different psychologies, if you want to change behavior, you have to change belief. And in order to change belief, there's got to be some communication. So I immediately realized that no matter what you're trying to accomplish in the psychological field, there's got to be communication. So someone's got to talk to somebody. There's got to be therapy, or there's got to be counseling, or some kind of teaching, or role modeling, or mentoring. So this is part of what makes us unique as humans. Then when you go over to the marketing field, I realized that whatever tactic, whatever method, whatever tool you're using to try and get clients, get customers, get constituents, sell products and services, whatever you're doing, it all comes down to how well you communicate it to your audience. So if you're running Facebook ads, the success of those ads depend upon what you say. It depends upon your message. If you're just doing social media marketing, it all depends on what you say. When you get people to come to your website and they're checking you out, their impression of you is based upon what you say, either in a video or on the copy that is actually on your website. When they opt into your mailing list and they begin to read your emails, they are getting an impression of you based on how you communicate with them. So I began to realize it's not a question of having the tools. We all have access to the same tools. We can all create sales funnels now. It's automated, and it sounds so easy and so simple that you can make 8 figures in, work 3 hours a day, and you can make $1 million by next week because you've got these great tools. But I'm saying no matter how great the tools are, if you don't learn how to master your message, you just got a very expensive funnel or very expensive software or a very expensive website, but you're not going to make the connection. It's not going to work. So your message is like the gas that makes the car run smoothly. You can have a very expensive sports car or a very luxurious car, but if you don't have the gas, if you don't have the engine that makes it go, it's not going to get you where you want to be. And that's what your message does. So it's how we communicate. It's not the tool that we use. It's how we use the tool, how we express and communicate what it is that we want people to do. So that's the first connection. Communication affects everything that you want to do and everything that you're trying to get your audience to do. The second reason it's important is we all are inundated with so many messages, so many voices, so many things interrupting us, trying to get our attention. Everybody is putting out some kind of a message. Now, if you want to be effective in the message that you're putting out, you have to find ways to express and master your message so that you just don't get lost in all the other billions of messages that are out there. So the ones who do this, who have something worth saying, who say it well, and who say it often, they are the ones that are going to be more effective in whatever they're trying to do. If it's marketing, getting clients, getting customers, selling products and services, or even more importantly than that is selling ideas, selling mindsets, selling beliefs. If you can change beliefs and mindsets, then you can lead people in the direction that you want them to go in. And of course, you want to use this for positive purposes and use this for good purposes. And so communication has such potential to be able to change the world. And with the people that I work with coaches and consultants and subject matter experts, that's the business that they're in. They're not in the information business. They're in the transformation business. And that's the shift that communication helps all of us to be able to make.
That is so beautiful said, and it really explains the power of the communication. So, Ralph, what would you say, which role does self-communication play? Well, how do you define self-communication? Like the self-talk, what you say to yourself on a daily basis.
Well, that's a really good question. Self-talk. Whatever is in your heart is what is expressed in your voice. So part of finding your voice and mastering your message is mastering your self-talk. And the way I see it is your branding and who you are is made up of 4 parts. I call it the 4 V's. It's visual, voice, vibe, and value. This is how the world perceives you. Visual is how you look to people. We make decisions in the first microsecond about whether someone is worth paying attention to based on their looks. We look at a book and we judge it by the cover. And that may not be fair, but that's the first thing that we do. And so the visual has to be right. The second thing is the voice. And that's what we hear. That's what people hear us saying. The third thing is the vibe. How do we make people feel? How do they feel when they experience us and our energy? And the fourth thing is value. No matter how smooth talking you are and how well you have mastered your message, people still want to know what's in it for me. What is the benefit? How do you solve my problem and deliver the result that I'm after? So visual, voice, vibe, and value, that's how we are judged by the world. The conviction and the passion and the power behind all of that is how you see yourself. If you see yourself as someone who is connected, powerful, authoritative, knowledgeable, able to solve problems, able to deliver results, that confidence will come through in the visual, the voice, the vibe, and the value. But I am amazed at the number of people I talk to, the number of clients that I work with, that deep down inside, they're not 100% sure that they are what they say they are. They've got some self-doubt. They're not sure if they can live up to the message that they want to put out into the world. So one of the first things we have to do is work on mindset, on self-talk. And this is really, I think, one of the beneficial things of working with someone else. Someone else outside of you, if they're good, is that they're able to see things about you and to appreciate things about you that you can't even see and appreciate in your own self. My belief is everyone has value. Everyone has something to contribute. Everyone has a voice. But if you don't realize that, you are short selling yourself. You're not honoring yourself. You're not able to translate your voice into something that changes the world until you have properly understood who you are, the value that you have, the value that you bring to other people, and what is unique and special and different about you. Most people, some can figure that out on their own. Most people, because they live in a negative environment, they've had negative experiences, they've had negative environment growing up. I'm saying you can overcome all of that and really tap into who you are, what your value is. And once you see it in yourself, then it becomes manifested through your visual, voice, vibe, and value. Or, like you like to say, the energy. People get the energy, but you don't get that energy if you're doubting yourself. So self-talk is a very important thing, and it's not about trying to convince yourself that you are something that you're really not. It's convincing yourself that you are really and truly valuable, unique. You have a voice, you have value, and you can change the world with your unique gift, talent. Even your very point of view has value. So my job is to help tap into that and help you to see that, because if you don't properly appreciate it, no one else will, and no one else is going to pay you for your expertise. So we have to value ourselves before we can get other people to value what we have to say.
Well, I have to listen to that on replay because you said that so perfectly. Makes all sense, comes full circle what you are saying there. And it really comes down to, as you said, mindset and how you value yourself. It's the same with love. Like you have to love yourself first before you can love someone else, or someone else will love you. So going back to communication, Ralph, I have my magic toolbox for all the magic tricks, and you kind of have your magic box with all the communication tricks you use and you advise. And this is why I came across on your LinkedIn profile that you helped Obama in a communication strategy thing. And I know this was also a clever trick of you to use this. And maybe can you give us some insights on what you did there and how it played out for you?
Absolutely. Well, it's I use publicity, and in particular third-party credibility and media coverage to multiply the effect of my message, and also to create authority, positioning, and branding for who I am. And I also do this for clients as well, but this technique is known as newsjacking. So the story behind this is a few years ago, back in 2014, the Obama administration made a lot of headlines around the world when the president of the United States got up in front of the press and he said, "We don't really have a strategy yet for dealing with ISIS." And as a strategist, I saw an opportunity that, well, anytime someone talks about strategy, I'm listening. And so for the president of the United States to say, we don't have a strategy for dealing with something, I just thought that was remarkable in a couple of ways. First, that they would not have a strategy. And secondly, that they would actually admit that they didn't have a strategy. I mean, even if you don't have a strategy, at least don't tell everybody, say our strategy is being developed, or, our strategy is secret, or something. But I just thought that was amazing. And so the idea occurred to me immediately. Well, as a strategist, how would I advise the president in this situation? And so what I did is I created a media release. I wrote up a news article and I submitted it for national media syndication. And the headline of that article said, "Marketing strategist Ralph Brogden advises Obama on no strategy remark." And so I structured that news release in such a way that it was picked up and distributed by thousands of CBS, NBC, ABC, Fox, CW television affiliates. It was plastered all over websites and newspapers, and I got more publicity out of that one news article than out of all the advertising I had ever run. And so that's one of the tricks, one of the tools that we have in the toolbox. But by valuing and understanding my worth as a strategist, it made me see that opportunity and take advantage of it. So I do the same thing with my clients who are really good at what they do, but they have no media publicity, they have no media mentions, and there's a psychological as well as a marketing principle operating here. And the principle is that people don't believe what you say about yourself. They just don't. They don't believe what you say about yourself because they figure you're just trying to sell them something. So people don't believe what you say about yourself, but they do believe what they see on the news. And it's called third-party credibility. So third-party credibility has to do with what do other people say about you? And this is part of mastering your message as well. That it's called priming and framing. That we don't just, and this is pretty advanced. I hope I'm not boring the listener too much, but it has to do with framing and priming. Is we don't leave it up to the public to decide how they feel about us. We master that. We manage our image. We manage the brand. We manage the press. We manage the news that goes out about ourselves. And we position ourselves as people of authority and people with expert status. So third-party credibility has to do with news media mentions. It also has to do with getting testimonials. And this is something that is probably more easily implemented by most people. Most people, they do a really great job in their business, but they don't leverage the power of testimonials. They are still trying to get people to believe their own marketing, to believe their own advertising. The best marketing and advertising comes not from what you say about yourself, but from what your customers say about you. So testimonials, reviews, ratings. That's why when we go to Amazon and we look at a book, and we may read the description of the book, but we don't believe what the author says about his book. We scroll down and we want to see the reviews. What do the readers think? And so that's, in a nutshell, that's what leveraging third-party credibility is all about. It's based upon the fact that people don't believe what you say about yourself, but they believe what other people say about you. So we want to insert you in and get the media to talk about you favorably, because that has an impact on your audience as well. So that's just one of the things that we do in the area of publicity and media relations.
That sounds so interesting. And Ralph, I would love to talk to you for hours further and get you to reveal all your communication strategy secrets here. But I think we got a good idea on what you are doing. And we mentioned your online course that is coming out about mastering your message. And you do have a free ebook for everyone that's interested called Irresistible Marketing. So where can they get that? And also one step further, if someone listening is interested to work with you, to get you as a consultant, what are the best steps to do that?
Absolutely. Well, the name of the book is Irresistible Marketing, for the blueprint for psychological strategies for getting people to buy without you having to sell them. And this begins to speak to the distinctions I think that you have to make if you want to be successful in mastering your message and building a business in today's online world where there are so many messages. It means that you've got to change the way that you think about marketing and about messaging. So it's an Amazon best-selling book. It came out a couple of years ago. You can still get it on Amazon if you want to pay for it. But if you want it for free, go to ralphbrogden.com/free. ralphbrogden.com/free. And just enter your name and email in there. You'll get the link to the book, and you'll also begin to get a 7-day course by email, which is basically sharing with you what I think are some very transformational, paradigm-shifting distinctions that are really going to change the way you think about marketing and about messaging. And then, of course, you'll be able to reach out to me if you have any questions about any of those things. So it's ralphbrogden.com. That's my website address to learn more about me and the things that I'm doing. ralphbrogden.com/free if you want to take advantage of that free ebook offer and the 7-day e-course on how to become more irresistible.
Thanks for sharing that, Ralph. That sounds really magical, and I'm sure everyone wants to be more irresistible.
Yeah.
So I'm really happy that you came on to Pure Mind Magic today, and you have been my guest, sharing all the insights from your brilliant mind. And I would love to leave the last words of this episode for you. So what is the best advice or inspiration you would like to leave the listeners with for today?
Well, I think summing it up, again, the 3-step process for me is find your voice, master your message, and then share it with the world. And the first step to that process is have something worth saying. And I would say that the easiest way to think about have something worth saying is to bear in mind you need to talk about something that is bigger than yourself. It's bigger than you. It's bigger than your accomplishments, bigger than your goals, but it's how can we change the world? How can we make a positive difference and a positive transformation in the lives of all the people that we are touching? We have to elevate our business beyond just a way to make money, and it needs to become a way for us to make a difference. So when we craft a compelling message and we deliver it to the right audience, and we talk about something bigger than ourselves, then we have finally found something worth saying. We learn to say it well, we say it often and consistently, and we keep it simple. And I would just say, if you want to satisfy, you have to simplify. So simplify your thought process, simplify your message, and you can really satisfy your audience. And not only that, you can transform and create and change and do whatever you want to do. The sky is the limit when you have mastered your message.
Thank you so much for listening to today's interview with Ralph, and make sure to check out all his resources, his free ebook, also his podcasts, and when you're interested and want to go deeper, his online course on how to master your message. You also have the option to check out my online course on networking and how to use podcasting to grow your network. Everything you need to know is below this episode in the show notes. And next week, I have prepared another midweek motivation for you that tells you on how you can use a special secret around water to really, really enhance your creativity and your inspirations, ideas, and everything that helps you in your life and with your business. So I'm happy when you tune in again. And when you like this episode and found it useful, please make sure that you share it with a friend or share it on social media where other people can get access to some new knowledge and inspiration. Thank you for doing that and talk to you soon. Until then, create some magic.